One of the features available for PowerChurch Online users is a web app that gives you access to membership information. With the web app, there are no limits to the number of concurrent users as there are when you're working in the IDS client. So if you have volunteers or other staff members that really only need to look up contact information, get directions to someone's house, or to record a new visitation, you can save money on the number of concurrent user licenses you need by having them access the web app. This site has been around for a couple of years now, but was recently redesigned to speed up the site and to make the design more responsive for using on a desktop computer, tablet, or phone. If you have a nice widescreen monitor, you'll be able to make use of it now while still having a useful layout on smaller screen devices. The individual pages you view, like family information, personal information, and activities, now contain more fields of information than was previously available, and you can also now add and edit attendance through the web app. This particular feature was something that our users have been asking for, and now we've made it happen. If you wanted to set up individual Sunday school teachers or group leaders with access to the mobile app, they can separately record attendance data for their small groups right on the spot from their phone or tablet, rather than having to take attendance on paper and handing it into the office for data entry at a later time. So let's take a look through the different areas of the site that are accessible to you. First, we'll open a browser window and go to m.mypowerchurch.com. This takes you to a login page. There are 3 login fields here, the same as the previous version. The first is the online access username, which is your PCU number. Next is your PowerChurch username. This is the individual user account that's set up for you in the PowerChurch Plus program. You will need a user account to be able to access this site, so if you don't already have an account, contact your system administrator and have them get you set up. You don't necessarily need to have passwords enabled, but the user account does need to exist. One last note about the username is this built-in system admin user in PowerChurch does not have access to this site. You will need to have individual user accounts to access here. And lastly, on the login form, enter the password for your PowerChurch user account. We'll be accessing the demo data here. So I'm logging in with Demo 1, Demo 1, and Demo. Once you're logged in, you're taken to a menu with links to all the different pages that are accessible on the site. If you ever need to get back to the home page, just click or tap the little house icon down here in the site footer. So the first group of items here is the lookup group. That's look up a list of families. You'll notice as I'm hovering the mouse over this list of options, the whole white area is a link. So not so big of a deal on a laptop or desktop computer where you're actually working with a mouse, but it does give you a nice big target to tap on when you're working on a small touchscreen device. In the family lookup list here, it's pretty straightforward. It's alphabetical by last name. Now look up at the top of the page here, across the top in the menu bar. On the left is a navigation button. This drop-down list has the same exact list of options as the home page does, so you shouldn't ever need to jump back to the home page. This navigation button is always available here at the top left on every page. Now if we look over on the right, there's a button which is more context sensitive. This will be different on every page you look at. So here in the family lookup, we'll click that group sort button, and the options that we have are to sort them alphabetically by last name and first name, or to group the lookup list by mailing category, visit area, or who visits fields. So let's group the lookup list by mailing category, and you'll see the little collapsing lists here. We'll try that with the visit area, and it works the same. Click one of the families here to view the family detail. Now the button at the top right is to edit the family. You won't see that button if your user account doesn't have add or change permissions in PowerChurch. Right up top here is the family picture. You can click that to get a larger image. The contact information is shown with the name, address, phones, email, and web addresses. These things are all formatted so that on your phone or tablet, you should be able to tap the address to get directions, tap the phone to make a call, or, of course, email and web address links behave as they normally would. There is also a dedicated map button here. This is more for the desktop users who want to jump off this site to one of the more popular mapping sites. It drops down with the same 4 options that you have in PowerChurch Plus, that being Google, MapQuest, Yahoo, and Bing. Then below that, the family codes are shown. These code fields like mailing category, who visits, visit area, and then the 3 customizable code fields on each family. To the right are buttons to view and add visitations for this family. Again, if you don't have permissions to view or add visitations in PowerChurch, then these buttons won't be visible. Below that is a list of family members, each with a photo. These are all big link buttons as well, so that, again, for the usability on small screens, and you can just tap one of those links to go to that person's information. So if we scroll back up a little bit, I want to resize the browser window here and just show you how this all folds up on smaller screens. A smartphone from the last few years will probably be somewhere around this size, and a tablet might open up a little wider. So if you click the Edit Family button at the top, you'll see the form and all the things you can edit here, and it also folds up nicely into a single column when you resize it. Okay, so back on the View Family screen, let's click the View Visitations button. Here we have a couple of visitations for the Adams family. The newest one is expanded already, showing the visit notes. And just click that gray header to expand the other one. And again, here, resizing the window, you'll see it just folds up nicely on smaller devices. The buttons on the screen are to add a new visitation, or here you can go back to the family. So we know we can view a personal profile by clicking the family member link here, but let's go back up to the navigation button and look up people. Here again, you'll see the alphabetical list with the group sort options up here. We'll go to Visit Linda Adams. Here you'll see it's pretty much the same layout as the family was, with the contact information, then code fields, and the custom date fields. Now click on the Edit Person button, and you'll see all of those same fields in an editable form. It resizes nicely, and these big fields and big buttons for all of the small screen users. Back on the View Person screen, down at the very bottom is a list of activities that this person is a member of. It also shows the role that's assigned in each activity. Click one of those activities and you'll see a little information about the activity as well as the list of everyone who's a member of that activity. Of course, that's a link right back to the View Person page. So back up to the navigation button, we'll go look up an activity. This is pretty standard stuff by now. We have a numerical list of activities. The group or sort button gives us some different options. And just clicking one of the links takes you back to that View Activity page we were just looking at. Now you have the option of either using lookup lists like we've been doing thus far, or you can also search by name, phone, or email. So if you know part of someone's phone number but can't remember the area code, or you know their email address has a certain string of numbers in it, you can use these forms to help find people. So let's search by name. You'll see here it's pretty standard stuff. You can specify whether you want names that begin with the characters you search for, or if those characters are contained anywhere in the name. So for example, we'll search for the letters N-A, and then choose begins with, And you'll see that gives us only one result, Nancy Smith. But if we go back and change that to contains instead of begins with, and search for that, you'll see we get quite a few more results. And all of these names contain the letters NA somewhere, just not necessarily at the beginning. So let's go back up to the navigation menu and choose the Add Edit Attendance link. This works very much like the fast data entry screen in PowerChurch, but it's actually even faster. So we'll choose a date, choose an activity, and then click the button. So we've got the date and the activity information up here, then a list of everyone that's in that activity. There are checkboxes next to each name. As these two buttons here at the top show, checked means present, and unchecked means absent. Again, as we saw earlier, the whole block is clickable or tappable as a link, so you don't have to try to get right into the checkbox. And when you do check one of these boxes to mark someone present, the colors invert, so it makes it a dark gray box with white text. So it's very easy to see at a glance when you're looking through the list who is present and who is absent. So you can go through and mark individual people present if you want, or click that All Present button and start working down through the list of only changing those who are absent. It's up to you, whichever will be less work for your situation. And then down here at the bottom of the screen is the Save Attendance button. If you don't save your work, it won't be saved. So now that attendance data has been saved, you'll see we're back here at the form, and that same date and activity are selected here. So if we go back into that, you'll see a little banner across the top that informs us now we're editing existing attendance data. And so you can make whatever changes are necessary here, and then go down again to the bottom and click the Save Attendance. Lastly, we'll look at what preferences or options can be set. These are user-specific settings, so you won't have to worry about someone else changing these things and messing up the way you like it to work. Mainly, they're just filters, giving you the ability to hide people, families, and activities from those different lookup lists that we were seeing. They will still show up in search results or in family member lists or things like that. But these filters mainly just narrow down those long lookup lists that you have to scroll through. So down here at the bottom of the screen, you can see the default who visited to be assigned when you're adding new visitation records. So what that means is, for example, if we were logged in right now as Jorge Martinez's online account, he's the person that's out with his phone or his tablet, and he's making these changes and going out and doing visitations. When he goes to add a new one, he can set the preference here that the who visit is going to be J. Martinez. So we'll just need to save these changes, and they will be used as the defaults from here on out for this particular user. So that's it. We've pretty much covered everything that you can do here. This isn't an extra paid option, just something that will hopefully make your life easier. It'll give you the chance to get some more volunteers and staff members active in keeping your PowerChurch Online data up to date.